Currently 7:12 p.m. It's Monday, June 10, 2024 still. And just want you to see the time, and you can see the still images inside of my apartment as engineered light is cycling across my ceiling and across the floor. This is not even under the guise of what would ever be sunlight, because of the direction, the location of this light. And also, while you are looking at evidence of the maintenance of a light source, which we're all supposed to think is the sun. But then when you are documenting what is unnatural light behavior and also the unnatural occurrence that the sun would be over the same exact address all day long and capturing it over me at 11 outside of my leasing office at 11:16 is all day long. But I'm going to show you documentation that I captured where the entity didn't cover up the light source in the morning. So you'll see it over me in the same exact parking lot where I documented the people of the state acting via Amazon and the third party driving license plate 8WLR537, who you see on the bottom at what is 5:54 p.m., where at the same exact time also the entity is maintaining a light source that is not possibly the sun. Speaking to the specific environment, it is the same specific environment, not the same natural environment. Understand the legal terms that are being used in order to prosecute a malicious and corrupt government that's engaged in group stalking with the people. So you are looking at the people that are engaging in the system, as I'm showing you universal waste crossing path with engineer light and on the top at the same parking lot where I'm present, where Amazon Prime is literally at the same location in the same parking lot, and the light source is over me at that parking lot, which you will see out of the passenger side of a vehicle of a third party who was crossing path, that is group stalking in the specific environment where you're documenting the unnatural occurrence that the sun is still remaining over me while you can see it through the driver's side of a third party that is crossing path in a vehicle. So this is what you're looking at on the top, and what I'm going to show you on the bottom is video of what is the light source, excuse me. You'll see the light source out of what is the opposite side of the vehicle. So like I said, the people of the state, Universal Waste, Amazon Prime, Jeanette Balderas, Luis Ramos, same entity. Okay, you're going to prosecute each aspects, each instrument of the state. Jeanette Balderas and Luis Ramos, they're going to be individually prosecuted for engaging in what is state terrorism in the shoes of the government, providing, in other words, the ability for the government to monitor me 24 hours a day by virtue of living at a crime scene, for which you go to federal prison, and they're getting years for that. So the entity is maintaining a light source over me at this parking lot, and I'm standing literally at the same location in the parking lot as I am at 9:03 in the morning on April 29, 2024. As you can see the timestamp on today, June 10th, 2024, which again, the exact same time at 5:54 p.m. at the same address. And let me also point out, daylight savings time or not, which is literally only the difference of 1 hour, is no explanation for what I am capturing. Direct evidence that the state of California, and specifically the people of the state, Amazon Prime, which represents the people of the state, and Universal Waste, are engaging in what is state terrorism, which is the government and the United States that's engaging in what is group stalking. Group stalking is state surveillance that the government is engaging in, and it is entirely demonic, and that demonic activity is occurring in a demonic environment. That demonic environment is highlighted as you see. That which is not possibly the sun, referred to as the light source, is over me at the same location, the parking lot, at the same property, Alvarado Gardens, literally in the same position in that parking lot at the same property at 9:03 in the morning, and again at 5:54 p.m. And I'm showing you the P.O.C. that the people of the state are helping the government engage in. This particular driver of 8WLR537 is going to federal prison, and this particular driver of a Universal Waste vehicle with the license plate that I documented as they drove past, I believe, I documented on more than one occasion, they're going to federal prison as well. So just as an aside, I've already documented Universal Waste heavily, and literally I've also shown the same pattern of what is impossible coincidence with regard to the behavior of those that are operating Universal Waste Systems vehicles. Just engaging what is nothing other than removing dumpsters off of a truck, not even emptying it. All your job is to literally just roll it into the concrete area, and the entity is engaging what is amplification in the engineered environment. While I'm showing what is the specific environment, that is a demon, that is group stalking in the shoes of the government, that is hiding the fact that the government is keeping you under surveillance while the people of the state engage in or do the bidding of the state, which the state participates, as I show you the stalking in helicopters and stalking in police vehicles, like the entity is doing on this day, by the way, in 2022, outside of the Ovid Family Community Library. The entity is group stalking directly. That is the Ontario Police Department. So this is the light source that's over me. So I'm going to capture, I want you to see this video that I captured today, 2024. This driver is a third party Amazon Prime. This is the people of the state engaging in what is the state's criminal system under the guise of a company operating a business, and the same exact criminal conduct, the same exact demonic environment, the same exact engineered light, which is no product of sunlight. So you're not, and under any circumstances, doing anything different. And so the federal government shall recognize what is the malicious engagement in the same exact criminal system that the people of the state are performing in concert with that government. And it is entirely demonic. The evidence of their demon possession is their pattern of conduct in that demonic environment. Okay, this is captured at 5:54 on the bottom. And this is captured at 9:03 at the top. So let's look at this video and the engineer light that moves all across the apartment. You can see the light source that is over my head as I stand in this parking lot where I work. You saw the light source over me this morning as of 11 a.m. It is a phenomenon while it's over my head, by the way, and then you see it visible outside of my leasing office 2 hours later at 11:16. That is the pattern of conduct in and of itself. It's non-movement of the that which is under no circumstances of the sun, nor is it going to be anywhere over the those that are group stalking on this day in 2022, while Ontario Police, a terrorist organization, is stalking heavily in helicopter, which I document on podcast, while I'm capturing group stalking on in via images as I am in Ontario at this time, and the light sources remaining over me while a fair is underway, and including those affiliated with the Navy, are engaging in the state's criminal system of federal group stalking and monitoring. There is no respecter of persons when you're looking at the direct evidence of that criminal system, and no one is ignorantly engaging in presence or activity creation, which is either movement, non-movement while somebody else is engaging. There's no coincidence. There's no accidental. There is no ignorant activity creation. It does not exist because the entity is maintaining an entirely unnatural environment, and that is for a very specific purpose. Okay, everyone is acting pursuant to an ongoing pattern of conduct as well, and it is centered on the person that's being targeted in a very highly malicious manner. It is terrorism in the U.S. So let's look at the video. Look at the light source that's seen through the passenger side of the vehicle. This is what I was pointing out to you when I'm on the same bus route, by the way, Route 83, Omnitrans in San Bernardino County at 7 in the morning. It's visible outside of the passenger side of the bus. In the evening, as I documented on June 9, 2022 at 6:18, I believe. This is during the 6 o'clock hour. It's visible, same route, same bus stop. It's visible outside of the driver's side of that vehicle in alignment to me. Which is an impossibility. It's under no circumstances natural, and it also is not going to be in alignment with me, visible through my bedroom window, over my head as I walk from my office to my apartment, over my head and visible through the windows and the windows of the vehicles driving in this parking lot in Los Angeles. That's the identifier for the state that is engaging in the ceaseless system. And it is identified through what is a demonic environment, and all of the demonic behavior that's occurring around me is the criminal conduct of federal group stalking and monitoring. As you are understanding the pattern that's captured in the unnatural environment and the pattern of behavior occurring in that unnatural environment, which is exposing the demon possession, the demonic activity of a corrupt government that also speaker companies, the people of the state, the same entity, is seeking to obstruct justice. And everyone's going to federal prison for that. This driver, Universal Waste, that driver, everybody working at the corporate office of speaker companies, everybody living at this property at ALVARADO, they're all going to federal prison. Okay, for this egregious act of terrorism that the government is engaging in on a ceaseless basis, and doing so through a readily identifiable environment. So it is currently 7:22, and I just want to document the entity is maintaining engineer light both on my ceiling and on the floors and on the bedroom walls as I capture on an ongoing basis, while I'm showing you video right now of what is at 9 o'clock in the morning and what is, again, 5 in the evening on the bottom, 5:54, where the entity is maintaining a light source as though that would ever be the sun for that duration of time at the same property, literally at the same location in the parking lot, and also then in alignment to my bedroom window. While there's also the evidence of that the so-called sunset is visible over the Ontario Police Department on this day in 2022 at the same Ovid Family Community Library as I capture that light source over my head in alignment to me at the end of the day. Okay, so this is P.O.C. I want you to pay attention to the light source. This is crossing path conduct. Space as well. They are engaging in monitoring in the private space as well. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, they're engaged in this act of terrorism, coming onto the grounds, engaging in the criminal. Wednesdays and Fridays, they're engaged in this act of terrorism, coming onto the grounds, engaging in the criminal elements, monitoring with the state and LAPD. That is the impossible light moving across the building, while Ty Yim is in relevant position as well. That's actually Ty Lee. What you're looking at, I want to keep this together because you see the light source over my head through the window of that vehicle. They are engaging in monitoring in the private space as well. Okay, that's what you see through the window of this parking lot. This is exactly where I'm standing down here at the bottom at 554. So I just want to show you that you can see it through the window of the passenger side of the vehicle. Okay, so I want to show you the light source that's still over me. You can literally see it right here over my head as I'm standing at the back. This is a third party. This is the specific environment. The entity is stepping on the brakes of this vehicle and then feigning ignorance about my presence. This is light activity, and it's occurring also at the same time that the entity amplifies helicopter activity, which is audible activity, relevant positioning, and light activity. And then a psychopath that is like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you. This is a threat to your life. It's assault with a deadly weapon upon federal group stalking and monitoring. This third party is going to federal prison regardless, because they're acting in concert with the state. This is an impermissible threat. Amazon Prime, not coincidentally, coming onto the grounds, communicating a threat, engaging in terrorism in relevant position, while they are knowledgeable about the fact that I specifically identified them and documented them by reference to my podcast this morning. The entity that is witnessing its exposure engages in a pattern of repeated threatening conduct and will come and directly engage in the pattern of conduct. This is the very demented appetite of a demon-possessed entity that engages in this demonic activity and does more of it as it's specifically identified. So this is literally the personification of demonic behavior that's going under the name of a company name, just so that you can understand what that is. In the same way that the light activity is the personification of the obsession and the demonic stalking conduct by the entity. It is literally the personification of Satan. It is acting out in the behavior. It's acting out in the environment. And so, like I said, on this day in 2022, I specifically documented Amazon Prime. They are engaged in federal stalking on the venue of the internet. I mean, all of the entity. They're aware of what I reviewed on my podcast this morning. Amazon Prime is not coincidentally engaging in the pattern of conduct. Like I said, no coincidences in the specific environment. Want to point out they were specifically documented on this day in 2022 via podcast, group stalking in Ontario, where there's no sun that's ever going to be over me, by the way, at this property at 9 o'clock in the morning, like you see at the top, while it's remaining over me for the duration of the day as I go from the bus stop at Euclid and Hope Boulevard in Ontario. And then I get on Route 83, and then I travel to the Ovid Family Community Library after traveling from on the bus going up toward Upland and back down, which again, a lot of this I was doing just to document the P.O.C. And to gather more names. So I stopped my travel and I went to the Ovid Family Community Library. This is on video, and captured in images, which I'm showing 10 o'clock in the morning. The light source is over 215 East C Street in Ontario. And as I step out at 5:54, this is what is so phenomenal about this documentation that I captured this evening. It's literally at the same time at 5:55 p.m. The light source is directly over my head as I'm standing in front of that same library facing the parking garage, which is, again, my back is to the entrance of the Ovid Family Community Library. The same one where you're looking at the terrorist organization group stalking on June 16th. The light source is over the roof of that library, over the top of my head. 5:55 p.m. on this day, 2022. It's directly over me. I'm looking at it while it's, in other words, stalking in the path, remaining at the same address at what is from 10 in the morning on this day, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that is 8 hours later. It is still over the venue, aiming engineer light underneath the entrance. This is all manner of what is maintaining engineer light and keeping a light source as though the sun would be present at that same address, not moving necessarily to be caught after at 5 p.m., essentially 6 p.m. at the same address as I step outside of that venue, where you see Ontario PD group stalking. And this is how you are identifying what Amazon Prime is doing, the people of the state. They're group stalking. Okay, and so this is what I want to show you. Not only are you looking at the light source through the passenger side of this vehicle, which is identifying the people of the state group stalking, while I am at the specific, in the specific environment that is now being maintained in LA, where I work and live at 9 o'clock in the morning. This is where I'm at on the same parking lot, and you can see the light source here, but I'm going to show you video. And the entity is maintaining this light source at the same position, which is under no circumstances the natural environment. Oops, hold on. So this is, I'll just go ahead and show this. I wasn't even going to hone in on that. This is the light source that, again, I start this video at 5:54 as I walk outside of my office, where, since I'm going to do that, let me just show you this. Amazon Prime is stalking in the path. This is strategic placement. As I walk from my office and I document walking outside of my office, this is the light source over the building 1800, building 1802. This is specifically over building 1802. Okay, the second part of this building right here is building 1800, and then this is building 1802. The light source is in alignment with me at the same entryway of my leasing office, which I captured at 11:16 in the morning while LAPD is flying over my head. Okay, this is captured at 5:54 p.m. That's not the natural environment, that's group stalking. The setting for where group stalking is underway, and the light source is at this end of the property because this is where I'm at. It's stalking in the path, keeping in alignment with me. As I leave my office, you can see the light source move in real time. This is moving over as I'm walking, keeping in alignment with me as I'm walking beyond the office. You can see it moving as I move. This is the building 1802. You see this is the entrance, and Amazon Prime is stalking in the path, moving as I move, tracking my steps, which you can see literally through the unnatural environment where the sun would never be present, like I'm showing you at the top. It's here over my head at 9 o'clock in the morning. This is, again, what is 5 o'clock in the evening. And I'm showing you, sorry. I am showing you what is captured as in still images as I walk from my office second by second, 5:54 p.m. All right, Amazon Prime, this is a demon, and this is the pattern of conduct of maintaining presence as an entity everywhere that I go. While the entity maintains the demonic environment, that is directly relevant to the condition of those that are engaging in the pattern of maintaining presence, maintaining light activity, maintaining audible activity. This is a demon representing a company, which is the people of the state, group stalking in the specific environment. Okay, this light source, this is the same parking lot where I'm at the top right here. The light source is over me at 9:03 in the morning. This is on its face right here. This is the prosecution of Amazon Prime, but it goes beyond this. The entity is maintaining the light source as I walk from my leasing office. All right. And I'm capturing again, Amazon Prime is driving on. This is relevant positioning. This is what the entity does as I walk down from my apartment to my office, as I walk up to my apartment from my office. Someone is maintaining presence either on foot. This is what I'm always taking pictures of, either crossing path on Alvarado, either sitting in the parking lot, group stalking, sitting in their car, either walking their dog, walking toward the dumpster. Somebody is always maintaining presence in the path, and the entity is maintaining ongoing audible activity. All the elements remain present. It's group stalking, maintaining presence. That's what it is, through any and every method. This is Amazon Prime crossing path as I'm walking out of my office, tracking my steps as an entity. I'm just going to prosecute Amazon Prime for participating and facilitating it in the shoes of the state. That's a very serious federal offense, a matter of public corruption that Amazon Prime is knowingly engaging in and facilitating, threatening my life and engaging in what is more than one documented criminal act of assault and battery of assault with a deadly weapon. Okay, this is hold on one second. I want you to hear what I'm documenting. 8WLR537. This is engineer light that's on the shaded side of the apartment building. Remember, when I'm inside of my apartment, engineer light, the pattern of the blinds is appearing both above my head and on the ceiling. And then outside you have as though sunlight is going to hit the windows above and aim downward onto the building on the opposite side. And what I'm referencing is the light activity inside of my apartment. As I walk into my apartment, that's exactly what you see. The light activity that is all over my carpet on the inside. That is maintaining light activity both on the floor, and this is dynamic light. The leaves on the trees and the blinds are closed. You can see the pattern above my head, the pattern of the blinds. That is above my head. This is engineer light, and it's also on the ground, spreading across the carpet on an ongoing basis. This is all manner of terrorism. You see that light moving around. This is through closed blinds. The blinds are not even open, and you have a light aiming in all manner of direction. This is magnification. This is engineer light, and that is the ability to identify the demon possession of all of those who are group stalking you, which group stalking is demonic. This is, again, captured at the hour of what is 6:02 p.m. While I'm showing you evidence of what is an entirely different region, the entity is maintaining a light source over me at 5:55 p.m. where I'm capturing group stalking by the Ontario Police Department. Doing so in your face. okay, in the unnatural environment at 5:55 p.m. and maintaining this light source as I remain there and I capture the light source on an ongoing basis, just showing you who's stalking in the path. The light source is right over me. This is who's group stalking in the path, right in your face. Every single last one of these officers are going to federal prison. All of them. I heavily documented the terrorism that the Ontario Police Department are documented engaging in for a prolonged period of time. They are doing so, and what Amazon Prime is doing in the specific environment in Los Angeles is under no circumstances the natural environment, speaking to the condition of the entity that is actually a terrorist organization engaging in surveillance in the United States in violation of your constitutional and human rights, and intentionally posing a threat by maliciously group stalking you in your face in a manner that is unfathomable, inarticulable to the ordinary targeted citizen. All right, when they're stalking you in helicopters, doing so in such unheard of and highly malicious manners, you're assumed to be incapable of proving it and even describing how, or your basis upon which proving that a police department is stalking you by helicopter. That's malice. All right. And so the malice is also shown through what is demon possession. Every officer affiliated with the LAPD, that entire organization is demon possessed. It's a terrorist organization in the same way that the LAPD is. And the entity maintained a light source over me while I'm showing you what Amazon Prime is doing here. And what is not occurring at the same time is any sort of sun that's going to be over my head while I am at the same time at the Ovid Family Community Library on this day at the same time in 2022. But let's look at this, because what I want you to see is not only is the light source over me visible in the same parking lot, and this is what I'm pointing out with regard to the light activity inside of my apartment in this video, where I'm showing you the light activity that's on the outside of the buildings, okay? This is where Amazon Prime is group stalking, and knowingly so. Specifically, I documented them on podcasts. I want you to watch this very demonic iteration of the environment. It's not the natural environment. First of all, I'm at the same property. Look at the above, 9 o'clock in the morning. This is where the so-called sun is over me. I'm in the same parking lot, the same property. And as I walk to the opposite end to document the demonic act of terrorism by Amazon, the people of the state. Amazon is a third party. Amazon is monitoring and terrorizing American citizens in this country. That's what you're walking away from this. And I am going to criminally and civilly prosecute them. And this driver is going to federal prison. Okay, this light source remains in alignment with me as I walk on the property. This is very demonic. As I move, the light source moves. As I move, a demon arrives. Visible through the window of that vehicle is the light source, okay? That's impossible light activity. It's also speaking to what is an immediate presence. This is the same location where I'm at 9 o'clock in the morning. This is a demon going by the name of Rita Vega, a malicious actor, whom, by the way, the people of the state are referencing. Let me be clear, Tiffany Sherez and Rita Vega, Vanessa Dries, they're the same entity, all group stalking together, including with the demon-possessed garbage dumpster technician, who are all monitoring together. And this is the same entity that seeks to obstruct justice. And that's why every single last one is going to federal prison. But this is the specific environment. The light source is moving as I move and tracking my steps, just like Amazon Prime was doing as I was walking away from my office. This is the demonic behavioral pattern to maintain presence at my every move in the specific environment. It's strategic placement. It's entirely psychotic to maintain a position whereby you can supplement the necessity of activity and physical presence in the path while that light source and or engineered light is present. Okay, so as the light source is literally moving in step with me, a demon arrives behind me, Rita Vega, and the engineered light and the light source is visible through the window of what is the opposite side of the same vehicle. So what you're looking at, by the way, 5:54 p.m. So let's hone in on this. While it's visible outside of what is her passenger side, at 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm in the same parking lot, and the so-called sun is visible over my head at 9 o'clock in the morning. That is capturing, again, the pattern of conduct, not the sun, not the natural behavior either. This is demonic. This is ongoing group stalking and monitoring that I'm capturing, and I'm detailing it step by step. In addition to that, not only, let me zoom back out, the light source is remaining over me as I walk toward the people of the state, specifically Amazon, following, tracking. This is terrorism. Okay, while this demon arrives to maintain presence, this is ominous, life-threatening, terrifying stalking conduct that an entity is engaging in on an ongoing, ceaseless basis. They do so stalking with noise. They do so stalking with methods of light activity. And there is nothing natural or nothing calm or neutral about it by virtue of literally engaging in it as a population in concert with the state that tends to use helicopters, bearing weapons, exercising fictitious authority, lying about you, or any criminal act that you allegedly engaged in, or allegations such as what Heather Till is literally manufacturing while they're aware of the fact that their criminal system is being documented. It doesn't get any more psychotic than that. It does not get any more psychotic than that. And this is speaking to what is real-time terrorism that Amazon Prime is engaging in. Rita Vega and Amazon Prime and the license plate that I read are the same entity, the same environment, the same criminal conduct with the state. This is not the sun that would be over me as you see it over my head through the window of this third party at 9 in the morning, and this is captured at 5:54 in the evening. In addition to that, this light source is keeping in stride. This is how you know what everyone is doing. They're all demons and they're all group stalking, aware of my every move. And this is the sex offender that is also group stalking while my panties are being pulled down, while I'm physically nude, engaging in any private or personal activity, which is public information amongst this entity that is engaging what is hovering psychotic level of obsessive group stalking. This is an exceedingly violent sex offender. Okay, this is what the entity is doing, and it is literally shown through the unnatural environment. I'm in the same parking lot location that you see above. Oops, that you see above. Okay, so again, let's be reminded. This is where I'm standing. This is the same exact parking lot location. I'm standing at the same location. I'm standing in front of building 1800. Light sources over my head. That's exactly what you're looking at here on the bottom. This is exactly what you're looking at right here on the bottom. Literally, you're looking at the same vehicle. You see the white Sonata? This is the white Sonata right here. It's the same exact location, the same reserved parking spot, okay? This is capturing the scientific impossibility that the sun would ever be. Again, all you're looking at is big picture. It's just on the opposite side of the same person. It's at the same location because the entity engages in what is a pattern of group stalking on an ongoing basis. And while you are the center of the universe of that demon-possessed entity that is obsessively keeping you under surveillance, which is group stalking, and it's demonic. The entity engages in conduct such that the sun rises and sets over you. And that's literally what I'm capturing the proof of in this video that I'm capturing right now. So as I continue standing literally at the identical location where I'm at the top at 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm here at what is 5 in the evening, and this is how you are aware of the reality of what's going on right here. And this is a group stalker using what is presence by a minor child. The light source and the entity is maintaining the elements of monitoring and doing so while that light source is remaining over me. The entity is maintaining the specific environment so that everybody can group stalk together. This is engineer light that's appearing on the dumpster. This is Luis Ramos and Jeanette Balderas, who are group stalking, engaging in surveillance in the parking lot, maintaining presence. Rita Vega, that demon that arrives to maintain presence as I walk toward this location. She's surrounding me from behind, maintaining presence on both ends of my person. The entity is group stalking by helicopter. All right, you can see the engineer light that's all over the surfaces. This isn't sunlight. That's not sunlight. That's on the dumpster wall. Nor would this be the sun that's at the same location at the end of the day. This is surveillance that you're looking at, and it is entirely demonic. Let me be clear. It is only demon possession that will be the explanation for a people to engage in identical behavioral patterns, stalking someone that they do not personally know me. But I want to be clear. The spirit of Satan that is on them is very familiar with me. It is the reason for their obsession. And at the same time, they are threatening your life, sexually violating you, obsessively group stalking you, and also wanting to silence you. That's what Speaker Company's letter and email is about, and everybody's going to federal prison for it, including Lisa Rogan, like I stated in the previous video, because this is the exact same criminal system that I have been documenting, including as she engaged in it, exercising fictitious authority at the crime scene, which is a courthouse, a facilitating venue where the specific environment is present. Let me be clear. There's no sun that's going to be over the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court, as I documented on June 23rd, 2022 at 10:29 in the morning in a zenith over my head, where you're looking at it remaining over me at the same location in the parking lot between the hours of 9 o'clock in the morning and 5:54 in the evening, literally 6:01 p.m. This is when the video ends. All right, that's serving for the federal prosecution of Lisa Rogan and everybody else in that pattern of conduct, that iteration of the P.O.C., that act of obstruction of justice, where they exercise authority that they don't have as a corrupt courthouse, a corrupt sheriff's department, a corrupt police department, the entity maintaining presence in that courthouse, and this entity engaged in a kidnapping in 2020. And a lot of people are going to federal prison for it, including Lisa Rogan. All right, so the entity is maintaining this light source while I'm walking to the back of the parking lot. And you see the light source remaining in stride with me. So I want you to see that.
Hi, Sangli. How's it going?
8WLR537, a third party with the vest of Amazon Prime. There you go. Ooh. I want you to pay attention to the helicopter activity. It's the same time that this third party who is going to feign ignorance about my presence has his foot on the brakes. This is a method of maintaining light activity, and it's assault with a deadly weapon. So this is the entity that's threatening my life. Let me be clear. The threat to my life is also communicated. This is what the demonic do, and it's also going to be based on the stalker and the behavior of the stalker, the identity of the stalker. It's also reasonably construed from literally the presence of helicopter activity. The state is stalking you in that specific environment. By virtue of hearing it, the entity is threatening your life. The entity is further threatening because this group stalker is directly aware of who I am. Everything about the environment is speaking to the lies that are audible activity coming out of the face of this demon. Okay? Hi. Oh, yeah, I didn't hear the helicopter. That startled me. He said, hi, I need to get out. In other words, he was ignorant about my presence, and so he stomped on the brakes because, of course, he didn't see me. He doesn't want to hit me. It's light activity, audible activity of helicopter in the specific environment. This is a lying demon who's a malicious group stalker, third party, and both Amazon, who's going to be exposed for civil prosecution for assault and battery by its employees, its workforce, who is engaging in state terrorism in concert with the state, who's providing audible activity in the form of helicopter, directly indicating terrorism underway by the state and facilitated by the people of the state, Sang Lee, and what is Amazon Prime, wearing literally an Amazon vest, okay, in the specific environment. Amazon Prime doesn't have a legally relevant argument, and exhibiting what is demon possession, which is what the people of the state do on their own, at confessing to the fact that they are demons, indeed, group stalking. The fact that the light source is over the same parking lot after 5 p.m. is evidence of everyone's condition and their criminal pattern of conduct that's underway. Just want to point that out. Sorry, this is P.O.C. going to federal prison. Hold on. Right, there you go. Hi. Oh, yeah, I didn't hear the helicopter. That startled me. Sorry. This is P.O.C. going to federal prison. I have 2 shadows in front of me. The entity sounds... All right, this is the light source. You can see it over his vehicle on the hood. You can see it over the vehicle while he's in relevant position. And the light source... Oops, sorry. Let's open that back up. And the light source is directly over me. So this is indeed the P.O.C. You don't need the admission that I'm group stalking you by any third party. The ongoing intent to engage in the pattern of conduct is evidenced through the unnatural environment that's being maintained around you, through the concerted conduct by the entity that's surrounding you. That's where you're not going to get the truth, by the way, out of any face of a lying demon-possessed third party or state actor. You're not going to get that. The entity is maintaining the elements of monitoring, and you are not ignorantly acting in sync with the entity that's stalking in helicopters, the state of California. You're not ignorantly doing so amongst the phenomenon. Let me be clear. That's why the phenomenon is present, because you are group stalking. That's why it's there. It's there because that criminal kind of, I keep zooming out, sorry. It's there because you are indeed engaging in that system, which is supposed to be a secret, and it's not a secret. And the ongoing malicious system that is underway while I'm capturing literally the phenomenon. I'm still in the parking lot. This is the same dumpster. This is 5:54 in the evening. This is 9 o'clock in the morning at the same parking lot, at the same location. So that is the P.O.C. Amazon Prime is indeed engaging in that. And this is the entity that is doing so while it is monitoring documentation. Amazon Prime also acting pursuant to the pattern. As I point out, the entity's engagement in the P.O.C. 8WLR537 is going to federal prison. Luis Ramos and Jeanette Valdez are in the background maintaining presence. Rita Vega is maintaining presence on the opposite side of me. The people of the state are all in the apartments, by the way. They're all group stalking, but I just mean being physically present for purposes of pacing, for purposes of maintaining presence around me at all places. This is literally hovering, stalking, surveillance conduct by a bunch of demons. And the fact that they are demons is evidenced through the unnatural environment. Never will you have the sun in any position where you can see it, where I'm at the same location at what is 5:54 in the evening, and I'm in the same parking lot. You can see it over my head through this window at the top at 9 o'clock in the morning. But even more so, I want you to see it through the window of a third party that is crossing path in the same parking lot. And that is what you will see here. You mean? That's a threat to your life. Amazon Prime engaging in what is ongoing threat with a vehicle before. That's engineer light on the side of the dumpster. This is surrounding in the parking lot with vehicles. Rita Vega chasing me down as I walk toward this side of the parking lot. And this is the light source where I'm standing at the same parking lot. Let me be clear. Because she's not burning rubber in the parking lot does not mean she's doing anything less than chasing me down. That's exactly what that demon is doing. Maintaining presence, hovering presence at any any movement that I engage in. That's why she's present under a light source amongst engineered light. With regard to my new conduct, instead of walking to my apartment, I decided to walk to the opposite end of the parking lot. You see that light source remaining in alignment with me while I'm in the same engineered environment. The same light source. That would be the sun. That's over the same parking lot. No, that's not. That's capturing the phenomenon, and that's how you know that these demons are indeed engaging in what is very hovering presence. Every move that I make. Okay. So just because you're not burning rubber does not mean you're not engaged in what is tracking down. Tracking down is relevant to what is the maintenance of an environment, maintaining the elements of monitoring, doing so pursuant to whatever the target individual does as they do it. This is analogous to what is keeping your back to me while you're stalking in the path. Okay. You are still stalking in the path. You're stalking. Only demons, only psychopaths, only delusional and corrupt government actors that never anticipated the exposure of their demonic methods will do so thinking that anyone's going to be fooled. And then at this point, when they know no one's going to be fooled, they just try to outright silence you altogether. This is what I documented by email today on the communication device where federal stalking is underway that Heather Till sent as the people of the state, and Don Noggle. They're both going to federal prison, literally as I am documenting ongoing P.O.C. So nonetheless, I want you to... 9 o'clock in the morning. The entity also sounding helicopter activity. This is ongoing terrorism, and these are the demons that are indeed trying to silence you, and they fail. Everybody that you just saw is going to federal prison, everyone. There is no sunlight that's going to appear on the brick wall right here. This is my shadow. The light source is in front of me. This is my shadow that's on the brick wall. And then you're looking at what is group stalking in the path. Everybody's going to federal prison. Everybody. As though sunlight's going to ricochet off. Remember, this is the same parking lot. You're seeing it as though that's the sun. This is the apartment on the 3rd floor. Okay, that's a hovering light source, not the sun. And it's certainly not over at the same time the Ovid Family Community Library as I am walking out of the entrance at 5:55 p.m. Okay, this is, again, a hovering light source that is at the same location over me while I'm here at, the same location, the same parking lot at 9 o'clock in the morning. In addition, you're just paying attention to the features of the demonic environment. It's a low-hanging, hovering source that just remains for the duration of the day. Okay, that's including if I take a road trip up to Sacramento or if I stay at one address for the duration of the day. It is the equally impossible environment, the specific environment. It's a scientific impossibility. Okay. And this is where the entity is maintaining this environment as the people of the state begin pacing by. This is what Amazon does. Sangli, that's on foot, is walking in the parking lot, pacing, maintaining activity creation in the engineered light while the light source remains over me, visible through the window of the apartment on the 3rd floor, while the entity is maintaining sunlight as though that's sunlight on my ceiling through my window, while it's in alignment to this window. And I've already been in my apartment at this time, 5:54 p.m. I'm already in my it's already documented the light source is in alignment to my apartment, which is not going to be in alignment with this window at the opposite end of the parking lot, building 1812, which under no circumstances is even the sun. Where I'm showing you, it's here over at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's visible outside of the opposite side of my apartment in the living room window as I'm capturing a so-called sunrise early in the morning. This is under all circumstances, every angle you look at it, exposing what is demonic methods of group stalking. Okay. And it is identified through the unnatural environment. And the entity is maintaining, this is building 1812, like I stated. This is building 1812 through the on the 3rd floor of this apartment building, as though the sun would be this low hanging. That's not the sun. The sun is above us. You're not going to see it through a window like that. Okay. In addition, it's moving in real time in alignment with me as I walk to this end of the parking lot. In addition, I'm at this parking lot as I documented at 9 o'clock in the morning, and that which is not possibly the sun. Nonetheless, I'm documenting it because it's right here over my head as I capture video of it. And the entity is maintaining the specific environment for demons such as Amazon Prime to come onto the venue, for demons such as UPS to come onto the grounds group stalking, for demons such as Lyft, who you see coming onto the grounds group stalking with engineer light streaming across the asphalt, for demons that live at the crime scene such as Luis Ramos, Jeanette Balderas, Rita Vega, okay, and Sangli. Off of the window. That speaks to no sun at the Ovid Family Community Library, by the way. Nor would any sun. Nor is it in alignment or any position to be seen outside of my bedroom window. The entity is focusing the light source in alignment to that window because it's in alignment to me. This is a method of stalking with the light source as you see it through the windows, through windshields. This is what I'm pointing out to you because you'll recognize this is the entity's method of stalking with a source of light. Okay, that's what that's about. And it's entirely demonic. This is also, as I'm capturing that through the window of building 1812, the apartment on the third floor, it's not in alignment to my bedroom window. It's not going to aim any light through my bedroom window while I am here, deviating from what the ongoing pattern, what the entity expects me to do. The engineer light is appearing, and the light source appears wherever it is that I'm at as I go there, okay?
Be over me at the same position. I'm looking at it. It's over my head while I'm at the same parking lot, and Universal Waste is exhibiting demon possession while engineer light moves all across that apartment building. This is P.O.C. and Amazon Prime is engaging in what is assault with a deadly weapon, threatening to run me over. You know exactly who I am and what I'm doing and where I'm located while your group's talking. The entity sounds helicopter.
Pay attention to the light source that you'll see through the passenger side of the vehicle at the same exact location where I'm standing here at 9 o'clock in the morning. You will see it outside of not the passenger side of their vehicle, but the driver side of their vehicle, speaking to what is the maintenance of a specific environment for the ease of the people of the state to maintain the criminal elements of monitoring, which is federal group stalking and monitoring. Oopsie.
Same time as well. This is the demon that was parked by the dumpster,
and so that you can see that again. What you
helicopter at the same time as well.
This is the exact same location where I stand at 9 in the morning, and I'm capturing what would be absolutely impossible, that the sun would be seen as I stand at the same position that I'm standing at the top at 9 o'clock in the morning. This is at what is 5:54 in the evening, and all you're looking at is a difference of sides. The light source is over me while I am facing the same parking lot, and the entity is crossing path at 9 o'clock in the morning. While the light source is over me, the entity is crossing path at 5:54 in the evening, and the light source is over me. They are crossing path at the same exact location at the same address. Okay, this is capturing the evidence of what is demon possession, demonic activity, which is what group stalking is. And it's a highly malicious government system of a government that's keeping you under surveillance and doing so through demonic methods. That's what's so significant about this engineered light.
It's not by the dumpster, and engineer light was there. That's the same demon.
So this is exactly where I'm standing up here in the morning, and the entity is engaging. So what you're looking at on the side of the dumpster wall, for example, this light activity, hold on. This light activity on the wall of the dumpster. Hold on, did I capture video of it? Yeah. This light activity on the dumpster, all right? What you see here, this engineered light that you see here, as I continue and I walk past, this is crossing path as the light source remains over me. This is engineered light appearing underneath the vehicle. It's underneath the car. Okay, you can see my shadow as I walk through it, so you understand what's the significance. What are demons doing while they're taking groceries out? They're pacing back and forth in the engineered environment while the light source is over me, literally in the same parking lot that I'm at 9 o'clock in the morning. This is just an iteration, an example of what is the ceaseless criminal pattern of conduct, and it's entirely malicious. This is what the entity is doing, where you see this engineer light on the ground underneath a car, on the face of the wall, the brick wall, maintaining engineer light. This is what this demon is doing at the top while they're driving by in the parking lot, and engineer light moves all across the apartment building. Okay, he is going to federal prison, all right, him in particular. And Universal Waste is going to be prosecuted and exposed for terrorism in the state of California with the state of California.
They are engaging in monitoring in the private space as well. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, they're engaged in this act of terrorism, coming onto the grounds, engaging in the criminal elements, monitoring with the state and LAPD.
Okay,
that is
so
the impossible.
That impossible light activity is the same thing you're seeing on the wall of the dumpster that I am on the ground underneath Rita Vega's car. That you're looking at, that is again appearing where the light source is over me, engineer light moving across the apartment building. Another iteration of the same thing is impossible light activity that's stationary, planted, if you will, on surfaces all around. This is the same thing. You're talking about what is this engineered light that's dynamic while a demon is crossing path with you. It's the same thing. It's the same elements. It's the same demonic features. It's the same system underway. Okay, this is what you're looking at, and the phenomenon is that I'm capturing not only this presence of this engineered light, which is not sunlight, but I'm literally standing in the same parking lot at 9 o'clock in the morning at the top, and what is 5 o'clock 5:54 in the evening on the bottom. And all of this is under no circumstances what Amazon Prime is engaging in, what Amazon Prime is facilitating. Remember, Amazon Prime is nothing other than a terrorist. They're monitoring American citizens in this country. And let me be clear, you are fattening their pockets as they're keeping you under surveillance with the state of California, at least. But like I said, Amazon Prime is, I believe, an international company. And let me be clear, Bezos is not ignorant about what Amazon Prime is engaging. I am exposing what the governments are doing and what the people of the state of whatever government, what they're doing in concert. There is no son that would be, first of all, present over the Ovid Family Community Library at the same entrance where I'm present at 10 in the morning, which is exactly what I documented on this day in 2022. Where I remain at the same parking garage, and it's 10:18 in the morning. This is the parking garage, and I'm capturing what are pacing conduct because the entity that is, again, passive aggressively stalking you, not supposed to acknowledge you, they're not supposed to even notice you because nobody's paying attention to you. It is literally the effort to engage in the opposite extreme conduct. They're totally focused on you, group stalking you, but the behavior, the purpose of the people of the state, they're supposed to totally disregard you, especially if they don't know you personally, you don't know them in any way or anything like that. And so they engage in what is very extreme efforts to totally disregard you even as you document. But then you're understanding what the entity is doing. No, first of all, you're group stalking, period. But then their efforts to act like they're oblivious to your presence, which is legally irrelevant. You can look whatever direction, you can do a backflip. You're group stalking, you're creating light activity and audible activity. All right, the entity is feigning ignorant about your presence and like you're oblivious, like you're not a blip on the radar, and everything about you they are focused on while they're obsessed demon-possessed group stalkers. But they were also, they are also engaging what is the reality when you listen to and read the criminal act committed by the people who are talking about, oh, they're recording, they're overhearing things. All right, they're so fearful, they're being disturbed, where they are, when you can see my documentation, they're outwardly conducting themselves as though they're oblivious, as though nothing is happening, which is the behavioral pattern of the entity that's stalking with the state. They are necessarily acting like nothing is normal, nothing going on here, folks, while the entity is flying over my head by helicopter, while they're group stalking you in plain sight in concert with that entity walking through the parking lot. That's the same entity that is then admitting to the fact that they are very focused on you. All of that, the examples that the entity is supplying by virtue of how they're getting information about my alleged disruption of the people of the state, they're recording me. That is all a manner of trying to provide an explanation regarding what they are aware of because they're engaged in group stalking. And that's entirely psychotic. That is entirely psychotic. When I say this whole property is going to federal prison, that's exactly what I mean. All 59 units, 1803 is vacant right now. 1803, just like Brian Sub moved onto the grounds from day one, even before that demon moved onto the grounds, he was engaged in federal stalking. From day one of his presence onto the property, he's been engaged in state surveillance, and that terrorist is going to be deported out of this country after he spends prolonged time in federal prison, and that's if he makes it. Okay, this is an aged third-party group stalker. And this is not wishing in ill will on anyone, but I'm letting you know that there will be no difference in treatment under federal law for engaging in terrorism. So if you already have a bad back, if you already have an aneurysm, if you're already suffering from Alzheimer's, it's legally irrelevant and you're going to federal prison, and regardless of the state of your health or how old you are. It's relevant to what is malice, and Satan is using all of them the same. Okay, so I want to point out what is the specific environment that is under no circumstances shared at 10:18, just so that you know where I'm at. That's why I took pictures of the same parking garage. It's over my head at 10:18 in the morning. This is the same parking garage that I'm facing as I walk out of the Ovid Family Community Library at 5:55 p.m. And that light source is directly over that same parking garage. What's the difference? The entity is keeping the light source directly over the top of my head at 10:18 in the morning. Then it's keeping it in alignment with my face right in front of me in the evening. That's exactly what you're looking at when I'm maintaining I'm maintaining documentation of what the entity is doing at 9 in the morning. It's directly over the top of my head. You can see it through the window of this vehicle. That's a means of crossing path, and you can see it through the vehicle of third parties that are group stalking as I am in the parking lot of the same property. And this is evidence of what is crossing path. Here you go. That's evidence of what is crossing path while that same parking lot. And it's visible now out of what is the driver's side of the vehicle of a third party that is group stalking in the specific environment, not the natural environment. Okay, so I just want to give it, because that's a very powerful illustration for you to witness and understand what the specific environment is, what the specific environment looks like, what is the pattern of conduct. You can see the light source through the window up here on the bottom. in the bottom video, and through the window of, this is Luis Ramos and Jeanette Balderas. Jeanette Balderas has kissed her career, and as a registered nurse in the medical field, she's kissed it long goodbye. A documented pattern of engaging in terrorism via directed light. While I'm the light sources as a matter of documentation captured during the 9 o'clock hour and during the 2 o'clock in the afternoon, while she's just having a good old time parked beside this same dumpster, and engineer lights just sitting planted on that dumpster wall, while the entity is documented in that same video flying directly over my head with demons such as Marina Davila, all right, who's group stalking in the path while clearing out the backseat of her car. A psychopath, a passive-aggressive one, whose hostility is exhibited and demonstrated, threatening my life while that entity flies over my head because I'm documenting her criminal conduct. Under no circumstances would the sun be over the same property, visible through anybody's window on this apartment complex, or anybody's apartment window, or through their window while they're driving through the parking lot. Okay, and all of this is to be compared with the crime scene that I'm documenting, where the terrorist organization, the Ontario Police Department, are group stalking. This is the state acting directly. This is documentation of what the people of the state are doing vicariously in concert with that state. It is currently 8:03 p.m. and just want to go ahead and document while I was speaking to it. The entity is indeed maintaining that specific environment. As I walked right upstairs to my apartment, this is where the entity was maintaining engineer light. All right, and this is captured again as you see it outside on the building, as though hitting the window with sunlight is going to create that light activity. It's also coming through, piercing through closed blinds inside of the apartment. That's all manner of light activity. That's not just on the floor and dynamic, magnified light. It's also above my head. This is all manner of terrorism that I'm subject to. This is evidence of the sex offense. The entity is maintaining this engineer light as I capture at 6:39 p.m., 6:40 p.m. The blinds remain closed. I'm just showing you the light activity that's through the closed blinds. Is above my head, and maintaining that light activity as it's also stretching across the carpet. All right, rising up onto the wall, which is again movement from where you're seeing it. As I'm walking in, the light is literally traveling across the walls and across the carpet. I've captured it underneath my bed behind the headboard. This is all manner of demonic, and none of this is sunlight. The entity is keeping a light source over me while I'm at the Open Family Community Library. So the entity is prosecuting itself, the Ontario Police Department, that entire department. There is no sun that would ever be over them during the 11 o'clock hour and the 3 o'clock hour. I documented this in August of 2020. It's already on the record. Okay, they are indeed engaged in terrorism in the state of California, as are the LAPD and the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. This entire property, the courthouse of the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court, the San Bernardino Superior Court for that matter, you have a lot of people that are going to federal prison. All right, the entire corporate office of speaker companies sealed their fate. They're going to federal prison, and the entity is doing so with real-time knowledge of the fact that their criminal conduct is being captured. This is harassment. It's a threat to my life and my livelihood, while that entity that is indeed engaging in that criminal system then seeks to engage as threatening me and making false allegations while doing so, accusing me of being dishonest while she's asking me, making up information, adding information. My not answering your question is not being dishonest, and also you're not being dishonest. The only one that's being dishonest is the demon-possessed entity, the corrupt government that is a psychopath, in other words, that's threatening your life, obsessively stalking you. That's who's asking me these questions. Okay, you are not being dishonest. You're enforcing your rights and literally being very cautious regarding that stalker, regarding that sex offender, regarding that terrorist. That's the reality of what's going on while the entity is exercising fictitious authority. And I want to make sure that I document what is this entity. Not only is Heather Till and you have the entity that I documented, our Todd Speaker. This is a third party I documented. He's group stalking in relevant position in the specific environment. This aged third party group stalker, he's going to federal prison. Okay, Maria Solis is standing on what will be his left. Don Noggle is standing on his right. They are group stalking and engaged in federal stalking, which I documented in December of 2023. This is Don Noggle, who's going to federal prison, engaging in what is facilitating and engaged in federal stalking through this email, this criminal act that I documented in writing. It's a libelous criminal act seeking to obstruct justice. And this is Heather Till, who's going to federal prison. They're all group stalking in relevant position and using a company, speaker companies, whose real property is the crime scene. The people that say living on the property are engaging in that criminal conduct and they're monitoring me now in relevant position under the guise of operating a business. That's an intolerable level of facilitation. Heather Teal's going to federal prison while she is cheesing in relevant position, monitoring me and engaged in federal stalking. Okay, Speaker Companies is this company building is in relevant position. Let me be clear. This isn't Sunlight that's over this property. The entity was maintaining a specific environment. While you're looking at these bright blue skies, the entity was maintaining a specific environment, engaging in the P.O.C. while I documented them group stalking in relevant position to me. And so this is the significant. You already know what Selena Robledo is doing. This is Kimberly Fletcher, who's also documented engaging in group stalking, as I capture it in what is during the holiday. They were group stalking. Kimberly Fletcher's going to federal prison. Don Noggle's going to federal prison. Todd Speaker's going to federal prison. And Heather Teal's going to federal prison. And this entire corporate office, it's they're filled with terrorists. Speaker Companies is a third party engaging in and facilitating terrorism. And they were all literally engaged in state surveillance while I was at this property, which I documented, which is, again, let's see, the information captured, which is, this is the date that I uploaded it, not necessarily the date that I captured. This was in December of 2023. So this is where the entity is indeed engaging in this. This is the pattern of conduct that the entity that is Speaker Companies is engaging in. And this entire property is subject to 24-hour surveillance because the entity is engaging in conduct as though the sun would be over me at this parking lot, this same location where I'm touching right now, visible over my head at 9 o'clock while it's on this side of my person, the light source being, and the while I'm here at the same parking lot in this same location, and the light source is visible through the windows while the people of the state are group stalking, and the light source is over me at this on this side of my person. That's speaking to, again, what Speaker Companies is. Speaker Companies is a third party. Speaker Companies is facilitating and directly engaging in the pattern of conduct, which Maria Solis Alvarez, Carlo Lopez, Selena Robledo, Juan Carlos are all exhibiting, while they not only use communication devices, Title 18 criminal conduct, and also group stalking relevant position. And the entity is engaging in this criminal system as I documented them in December of 2023. They're all going to federal prison, every single last one of them. The entity is engaging in what is, again, what I'm speaking to. He's the owner of the real property. Criminal facilitation, where you provide property, you provide your company, where your workforce, or anything related to something that you're providing to the company, extending to the state, where the state is engaging in terrorism. That's not coincidental. That's why the specific environment is here. That's why you have the people of the state present amongst what is engineer light. That's why it's inside of my office. That's why it's inside of my apartment. That's why the entity is stalking here in helicopter. Todd Speaker is going to federal prison, and this is my documentation of him in particular. And the entity engaged in what is a criminal act of obstruction of justice, as I documented today, as the entity is maintaining the elements of monitoring, keeping me under surveillance, and then engaging in what is a criminal act of obstruction of justice, as I am capturing, let me, just because I want to get it in this video, because the pattern of conduct, the entity that is threatening my life, monitoring me obsessively, and then seeking to obstruct justice. Absolutely psychotic behavior. And everybody, including Heather Teal. This is a Don Noggle, who you see, who are group stalking in relevant position, engaging in federal stalking via communication devices, violating, by the way, relevant federal housing policies in doing so, and in facilitating the state system. They're all going to federal prison. And this is a criminal act that the entity is engaging in, a criminal act of obstruction of justice, aiding the state, in the shoes of the state, speaking as the state, not a company. Not exercising any constitutional right, not exercising any actual authority. Like I said, they're going to federal prison for that because this is a threat. This is a threat to my life. This is the government telling you, under no circumstances are you permitted to document the government, me, while I am monitoring and group stalking you. No, under no circumstances. That's an unlawful act by the government. The people of the state are in the shoes of the government, and everybody that you saw and everything that you see, Don Noggle and Heather Till, are going to federal prison. And at 8:10 p.m., the entity is sounding helicopter activity, just like it was as I was documenting the people of the state, Amazon Prime in the specific environment, by the way. And like I said, it's ongoing evidence. They're all going to federal prison. And that's exactly what was going on while Amazon Prime was stalking in the path with their foot on the brakes, which is light activity, while the light source is directly over me, while they are coming to the specific environment, engaging under the malicious guise of delivering a package, while they are engaging simultaneously in the elements of monitoring, while the entity is not coincidentally, that's called concerted conduct, sounding helicopter activity, as I just so happen to be engaging and documenting this demon. He's going to federal prison, okay? It is currently, again, 8:11 p.m., and this is P.O.C.